Now, there are growing calls for urgent reform in the South African Police Service. This comes as officers are facing mounting pressure from rising crime. There's heavy workloads and even mental health challenges that are coming to bear. The latest South African Police Services figures show that while the service employs over 180,000 staff, nearly 30,000 of those are just in administrative roles. That leaves around 150,000 trained officers that are sitting on the front line. Crime rates and the population on the rise. The demand on SAPS is becoming increasingly unsustainable. Let's discuss this a little bit further then. We're joined by Lesiba Thobakgale, the spokesperson for the South African Policing Union. And Lesiba, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it as well. Then let's talk about the urgent reforms that yourselves as the South African Policing Union would like to see implemented. What exactly are you looking for? Because, of course, these numbers are very difficult to manage.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Arabil, and greetings to your viewers at large. Firstly, we need to deal with the numbers when it comes to the human capital. The 10,000 initiative that was initiated by the president, which we clearly welcomed, it did not assist in terms of increasing the numbers, because instead what it did, it just went and, just to go and fill up the spaces of the members who went and who left the service, whether on natural attrition or those who have resigned or in any other way. So that did not help. There is an urgent need in South Africa, when we look at the high levels of crime, to really deal with the issues of numbers, to increase the numbers, because our population is forever growing, like you said earlier. And when we look at the numbers of the boots who are on the ground, those who are doing policing from day to day, those whom, when you go to the community service center, those who are handling case dockets, those who are on our streets patrolling, their numbers indeed are really not that good. So in order for South Africa to be successful in fighting crime, the issues of the numbers within the South African Police Services needs to be dealt with to make sure that at least we are in line in terms of the United Nations recommended ratio, which clearly suggests and recommends that one police officer should be responsible for at least 210 citizens. And when we look at the numbers that we have and versus our population, we're not even closer there. And further to that, the police safety, it is one of the issues that we are looking at. When one fastens their boots in the morning or at night when they are going to attend night shift, they are not sure whether are they going to come back to their families. We need to deal with the issue of police safety, clearly informed by the attacks and also the numbers of police killings that we continue to see, and they continue to rise. Unfortunately, that on its own, I think there is quite a need to deal with it. Arabil, it is difficult to be a police officer in South Africa, where when you go to work, where you are getting compensated, where you are fulfilling a constitutional mandate, you don't have guarantee that you'll be able to come back to your home. You have to deal with the commanders, whom some of them, they make it difficult for the members who are considered to be the boots on the ground. You have to deal with the issues that, your own personal issues when you go home, that are related to yourself, some relating to personal circumstances and stuff like that. So there's quite a lot that still needs to be done in order to make sure that the South African Police Services, it is indeed in shape when it comes to their employees and also in the output of fighting crime.
Lesiba, if I'm correct, the numbers, as you stated it, the UN saying that it's 1 to 210, right? Meaning that for every one officer, you look after around 210,000 people. I presume that's the number. In the South African context, as we make note of it, it's 1 to 430,000 plus minus there. What does the police minister, what does the government, what does the president ultimately say when you continue to point out that the human capital has diminished and that the drive to get more people in is pertinent? And the other side of that, you also don't want to just rush people in, and then you have untrained or insufficiently trained officers as well on the front line.
I mean, the SAPS has quite a lot of training academies where they can do basic training. I mean, there's a lots and lots of them. Some of them, even in the current intake, not all of them are being utilized for basic training because the numbers are low. The capacity of SAPS to train is there. It is just the will of government in terms of recruitment that would be quite so high in order to make sure that the numbers are also, they happen to tally. But further to that, it does not assist if you continue to recruit, but you don't have an existing and, a very working retention strategy. Because if then you would just recruit, but yet you're not able to retain members, some of them, they continue to be attracted, looking for greener pastures somewhere else. So that means that, you'll just continue to be filling water in a very shallow bucket where you are not even able to contain that water. So that is the current situation that we are seeing. So, all issues that makes members to leave the SAPS, they need to be attended to. From the summit that we were in, the minister did highlight to the issue of the need, indeed, to capacitate the police in terms of numbers and also the challenges that has to deal with the budget. The president was there as well, who also touched on the issues of the numbers as well, and also acknowledging the 10,000 that he himself pronounced during the State of the Nation years ago. But what we need to see driving as a driving force going forward, after all has been said and done, is to say that then how do we retain the members? How do we make sure they don't leave the South African Police Services to go look for greener pastures? That goes to the issues of the conditions of service, the salaries, the police safety that we just raised. And further to that, be able to go attract the young people. There's a lot of young people who are readily available to come and fulfill that constitutional mandate to even protect in South Africa. Joining SAPS.
Okay, then Lesiba, how many police officers should we be employing or at least training and coming into office then every year?
When we look at the training academies, when we look at the capacity that it has in terms of different training academies that we have, if we are able to do the 10,000, even that 10,000, we can remain, if we remain consistent with it for a couple of number of years, up until such time that we are then in line with the United Nations recommended ratio. That is where we would say that then at least the capacity thereof, we are able to really come closer to it, but also deal with retention and the rest of other issues that makes members to leave the SAPS, even though it is not yet their retirement age.
Could technology not make the job of law enforcement, perhaps, let me not say easier, but certainly work a lot more efficiently?
Technology is important. We are in the fourth industrial revolution, Arabile. We need to embrace technology, and technology plays a critical role. The use of drones, the use of body cams, and any other material in terms of technology that can be used by SAPS is quite important. But technology alone, we cannot only rely on technology. Technology, it also needs the human capital to also operate it, to also, even when technology picks up some activity that is found to be wanting, it needs a physical police officer, because policing, you do it from the physical point. Technology is there to enhance, more especially when we deal with cyber crimes as well. It is important for the police to keep up with the trends, to keep up with the patterns in terms of the ever-evolving cyber crimes that we continue to see, because they are being done, and those criminals, they use technology. So technology plays a critical role. It needs to be enhanced into the human capital in terms of how policing is being done, and it will even improve the output and also what SAPS has to achieve in terms of fighting crime.
Yeah, some would say perhaps it's a funding issue that comes to play here as well, which will be very interesting. Lesiba, I'd be very remiss then if I didn't actually get your comment on this. Of course, we are waiting a whole lot more further investigation in the passing of the 3 constables that went missing a few weeks ago, as well as the other bodies that were found in the Henops River. I just wanted to get your sense, not necessarily with regards to the investigation, but really with regards to any concerns you may have had so far, or how the case has been dealt with, or how you're feeling ultimately with regards to the entire situation. Perhaps we can get a word from you as well with regards to that.
As a union, we are quite saddened and we are pained. Since the news broke out to say the members were missing, and at a later stage, unfortunately, their bodies were found. The vehicle was not there. It remained to be a piece that indeed was missing. Parts of the vehicle were found and the other parts were found in this regard. It is said to us as a family, the law enforcement family, it is said to the families who are closer to them. And what we are saying is that as and when, the investigation is proceeding, that is what will clearly be able to suggest to us and to inform us and also to inform the public at large as to what has transpired. We really don't want, to really speculate on anything up until such time that the investigation has been completed and it really has facts around it. But as we were talking, Arabile, about the shortage of police officers, when we lose even one police officer, we get to be pained because we clearly understand that the family is going to be affected. And moreover, the citizens that one police officer was saving, it means that those members of the community will be left without a police officer that would be saving them. And in this regard, it is the 3 and plus another member. So the 4 who now, the members of society, won't have someone to service them because it takes quite a while to really, build a police officer. It takes some time. And it has been a loss to us as a union. They were our members. It is a loss to the society at large. I mean, we've seen South Africa, rallying behind and really wanting to know that they can be found and so on. We've seen everyone really coming up. I mean, as a nation, we are quite saddened and we are quite pained by what has transpired. But let us allow the final investigation to really tell us what really has transpired without any form of speculation.
Indeed. Lesiba, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Lesiba Thobakgale is the South African Policing Union spokesperson. They're joining us then as we talk about the SAPS's workload, those mental health issues as well, and perhaps getting more police officers in because they currently take on one police officer